Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Business Line Podcast. I am your host, Brian Collins. This is episode... Wow, what episode are we? Episode 54. That, my friends, is amazing. 54 shows in, and we are still kicking. We've made some recent changes. If you haven't been here in a while, those of you who have stuck with us, hey, thanks for joining us again and watching. Yeah, we're streaming this bad boy live now. So, there's a few hitches here and there, but we're learning as we go, and we're having fun doing it for sure. I will keep my eye on the lobby because we've got some guests that are going to be popping in today. So I'm pretty excited about that. Matt, I think, is still planning on joining us per usual. But we're also going to be bringing somebody in from our team. And I'm really excited to have him lend his thoughts and his opinions on a few things, as well as introduce some of the awesome things he's been doing on our team. So that's pretty exciting. I think that is about all for the intro stuff. Yep, I see somebody coming into the lobby, so that's cool. We'll bring him in shortly. So yeah, really excited. Had a great day today. Today was kind of a chill day, just working on some background stuff, working on a couple projects that I've got going on, looking into adding a new lead source. That's pretty exciting. I'm going to get this thing out of the way because that looks pretty goofy right there in the front. So yeah, for our revenue cycle management program, about last month, we stopped an old friend that we've had for a few years. It just wasn't working out anymore. Sometimes when the relationship isn't a win-win, you got to go the other way. So there's a good company, but they weren't just getting us the results that we thought we were paying for. So we stopped that, and we're going to be starting on with somebody new here in September. Just confirmed that today. Really excited to talk more about successes and maybe share a little bit about those folks as we move forward. Other than that, today is really had been about thinking, about tomorrow, really. Tomorrow's kind of a busy day for me. I'm going to be at a meeting first thing in the morning here in Sheboygan with a local nonprofit. Excited for that. That is, that was someone who I think found us online. Just do a normal Google search, or maybe they're on our campaign list. I haven't quite found out yet. But I got a double hitter tomorrow. So tomorrow, 8 a.m., we'll be meeting with the CEO of a local nonprofit. Really excited to do that. If it turns into a partnership, then I'll announce who it is, and we'll go from there. Hold on just a second. I'm getting a call from Matt. I'm not sure why he was trying to Zoom call me, but I wonder if he's having trouble getting into the lobby. But it's open, bud. If you're watching us on YouTube, it's open. Anyway, yeah, like I said, double hitter tomorrow, 8 a.m. IT managed service opportunity. It sounds like they've got a relationship now. They're not super happy, and maybe they're looking at other options. The next meeting a little bit later in the day is about an hour and a half drive for me. I'll be heading out to Fox Lake, Wisconsin, which is really close to Wisconsin Dells. My family and I spent a lot of time out there this summer. We did a family pass for everybody to America's largest water park, Noah's Ark. Spent a lot of water park time this summer and had a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm going to be really close there. I'm tempted to just go there after and just finish the day in the sun if it's sunny. But a local manufacturing company out there that was booked by our buddy Bob over at Arsenal. Shout out to Arsenal Business Growth and Bob Gillespie, our business development representative, doing a bang up job. Other than that, I think I talked a little bit last episode of the one before that we've got new. Why is Matt calling me? Hold on a second, guys. On the live stream as well. All right. Sorry about that, Haidar. Continue on, my friend.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. So I was talking about the recently implemented ophthalmology provider that they implemented. Initially, the scribes were very, confused and hesitant how to approach this client because this doctor sees about 50 patients a day. So if you divide it by 8 hours or 9 hours shift, you hardly get 5 minutes or 7 minutes per patient. Now, the doctor didn't have enough time to communicate well with the scribe and teach them what they want in the EHR, what they want in the notes. So the main challenge that erupted was understanding the workflow, understanding the preferences of the doctor because the doctor wasn't communicating because they didn't have time. So because we have a team of dedicated implementation specialists and medical scribes who are very much adapt to the role of implementing these difficult kind of specialties. Ophthalmology, is a very rare practice to find, and finding an ophthalmology scribe is even difficult, right? So we uh, sat together for the first couple of days. We did brainstorming. So what I thought and what implementation specialists thought that we should do a thorough research of the EHR or the previous medical records. Once we do that, we were able to get a clear understanding of what actually the provider wanted in the notes. That's what I have felt that an AI or any other company or any other scribe, you can't expect them to do that, right? Because we have those kind of scribes and the human mind behind who are capable to do this. So once they got an understanding and did a thorough research of 1 to 3 months of previous medical record data, then we were able to understand, okay, when a doctor is seeing a typical patient for suppose exotropia, so what actually they are writing in the notes. So we were
Okay.
able to clear this implementation with thorough research and the background medical evaluation of the EMR data. So that's how we proceeded. And finally, we were able to implement this within our typical 6 to 7 working shifts time frame. So it was quite engaging, quite learning as well. We learned a lot during this implementation. And I'm expecting with the AI in foreplay, right, going around, I think
Yep.
these kind of clients will be the one that we are going to face because an AI cannot handle 50 patients or 40 patients a day, right?
Yeah. Talk about that real quick from an AI perspective. Why is it that AI can't handle, such a
Hmm.
high workload?
Yeah. So suppose you are an ophthalmologist, you enter a room
Hmm.
with the patient. All the medical record that is there in the EHR for an ophthalmologic point of view or from a cardiology point of view or any other high volume clinic like nephrology, there is no HPI or what you call the subjective portion because the doctors don't have enough time to communicate with the patient, ask them, okay, how are you doing? What are the symptoms? Because they know if I'm an ophthalmologist, the patient will be here for the eye checkup and they have to go through the previous medical record only. There is not that much of talking going on for the
Hmm.
AI to catch that information and document it into a proper SOAP note. That's the main challenge. You have only 5 minutes to understand that visit, document that visit, upload it into the EHR, and go on to see the next patient. This is what an AI cannot understand or comprehend, and you need to have a human mind in the background to do these tasks. That's the main challenge with AI.
Yeah, that's a huge win for us, right? Because every day, what we
Yeah.
do is under attack by, the competition of AI or any other type of software. And
Right.
it's interesting because when we got this opportunity, we're always, weighing the pros and cons of taking on something new that might not be a fit with our
Mhm.
typical client, right? When it comes to a healthcare client, it's not typical that we're doing ophthalmology all the time, right?
Yeah.
But that might change here because we've got another opportunity in the pipeline with a practice in I want to say South Carolina that has 5 ophthalmologists, and right now they're kind of on the fence of, their fence is they want to do remote scribes, but they don't know if they want to do, if they have, it has to be US based or if it can be, overseas, like we have our team in India. And this win, I think, is going to be really helpful in talking with their practice manager and their providers that, hey, we can do this and we can do it in a quality way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the doctors are more hesitant to try out an India-based scribe, mainly because of the
Yeah.
communication gap or the accent problem. But here in
Yeah.
Panacea, that we train the scribes on accent also, and they are able to communicate well. And we haven't faced any kind of issues like this in the past
Yep.
with any of the client, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, our teams in India have accidents. That's where they live. That's how people talk. But I think you'd agree too. What we find sometimes it's not so much our accents; is sometimes they're worried that you're not going to understand them or comprehend all of their stuff. And generally what I tell folks is, in India, English is the first language that's taught as a unifying language in schools, right? Because there's so many different languages and regions in India. There might be dialects in the US where people talk a little bit different, they sound different, but in India, there's hundreds of different languages. So, their version of English might be a little more English from the standpoint of the UK from, grammatically, but comprehension is very high. So that's not a problem we run into at all. So cool. Hey, thanks for that perspective. I'm going to move on to segment 2. So again, just to wrap up, we have some big opportunities coming down the pipeline in IT. So I'm going to be doing a discovery meeting double hitter tomorrow in the morning and afternoon. And so I should be able to make it back to the office in time to do the show, Matt, and hopefully have some positive news about those 2 discovery meetings and next step. The goal of those discovery meetings is to book the network assessment. Get them to commit to being interested in IT managed services if that's what they really want, and then book that network assessment. So that's my goal. So hopefully I come back with that in hand tomorrow. But moving on kind of to the business segment of the show, couple big headlines today. One of them is this sheet that I have in front of me is from yesterday. One of the big headlines that I wanted to cover for today, and another reason I thought, Haidar, you'd be a fantastic part of the show, is some big tariffs hit a couple places today. One of them being a major market, which is India. India has the largest population in the world now. It's a major, global economic powerhouse when it comes to, I'd say top 10 countries in the world. And, this is something that is a big deal because I know that, especially with our current administration, India and the US are very good friends when it comes to political views and things like that. But this is, I think, causing maybe a little strain for a long time. I've only known really about, since I've got into business with my business partner, Manish, he told me years ago that one of his dreams was to get a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And I said, well, just go buy one. They're not, you can afford it. And he's like, well, maybe here, but not in India. Because in India, there's a huge tariff on US goods. Like if you wanted to purchase a Ford or a Chevrolet or a Harley Davidson or anything US made, there's big tariffs. I don't know what those percentages are, but they're not small. So what that does is, of course, economically, it makes sense. It disincentivizes someone in a country to buy outside of the country, and incentivizes people to buy from companies that are, on their soil, which boosts the economy and creates jobs and things like that. And that's kind of been the position of the current administration, is like, hey, if people are going to do it to us, it's only fair that we do it back to them. So, Saqib, tell me a little bit about the perspective of Indians and what the opinions are and what's kind of what the temperature is of things over there with these tariffs starting.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian. So this is a very hot topic going on in India right now because analysts are saying that it will affect about 48 or $50 billion worth of exports from India. So 50%
50
tariff,
billion.
yes,
Wow.
50 billion will be affected, and 50% tariffs on the fish products, leather, and mainly textile industry. That's going to affect a lot. But India is also trying both. Both are trying. US, Donald Trump is also, I can say, is not wrong on his part, because in India also we have a campaign going on by the name Make in India. So
Yeah.
the government incentivizes the companies in India to produce the goods here and sell it or export outside. So what Trump is doing, that is also good for US economy. That's his counterpart. And but India is also trying to diversify its efforts in the alternative markets like Europe and Asian countries. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to have you can say double-edged benefit or double-edged drawback for both the countries, that time can only tell, because in US soon you are going to see that leather, textile, and shrimp, they are going to cost way much more to consumers in US. And
Yeah, that's absolutely what'll happen. And like
yeah,
you said, right, like the incentivization on that side of the pond is, hey, manufacture in India and then export and create
yes,
jobs here, create businesses here. You know, don't do it over there, do it over here, and that's good internally for things. And I think that's what I think. You know, not to burn bridges, but that's what I think we're trying to do over here too. Because so for the last 40 years, it's been anything done with the hands has been pushed out to other countries.
right,
And you know, if you're if you're a well-to-do nation that it can afford to do that and pay everybody else to do those things, that's fine. But eventually, it catches up to you, and the people that you have in your country don't know how to make anything anymore.
right,
You know,
right,
and if the other countries, you give all the control of the costs of those goods to those other places, and eventually it catches up to you. I think we found during COVID, when so many things like medicines and chips, or not like potato chips, but like computer chips and silicon
yeah,
things, those were all done everywhere else. I think you guys probably got hurt by that too, because that was all kind of Asia product. And when we couldn't get those kind of things, whether it was pharmaceuticals or computer chips and stuff, a lot of the manufacturing that happened here, a lot of people suffered. So that makes you start to think we've got to start thinking differently about, like you said, diversifying what we're doing here. Not all blue collar jobs and office buildings and administrative roles and people in Zoom meetings. We got to create more jobs where people are places making things.
yeah, yeah. So only a time gap is there till the time both the countries understand this make in India or make in US, and the industries are set up here in India and in US. Only this time the economies will suffer. Otherwise, once it gets stabilized, it will all be fine. I think these tariffs are
I think
just
so too.
symbolic for now,
Yep, I
but
agree.
as well as punitive also for a short period of time. But ultimately, it will lead to a greater good for both the economies. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Matt, you got any thoughts on it?
On just AI and everything as a whole here, or what are your thoughts?
I just mean as far as the tariffs and stuff, how
Yeah,
this newest one it dropped today.
yeah, I'm honestly not too informed on the tariffs and things of that nature, to be honest, aside from when prices go up. So I'm probably not the
Yeah.
best to speak on that, not really too in tuned on it, but yeah, that's probably really what I'd have to say. I'm really not educated on that subject at all.
Yeah, don't feel bad. I'm
Yeah.
not super educated on it. I'm just closer to folks in India than I ever have been
Yeah.
in my life, these last, 7 or 8 years. So, when we have a team of 100 plus people, I get interested. And even though, I try to learn at least, I try not to turn on the news here.
Yep.
Because generally they're just telling a bunch of BS anyway. I prefer to talk to people that I know that live there, that, are talking to each other and their families and have family members that, are either affected or not. And I think like you said, Hyder, these kind of things, we're not going to feel the effect of it today or tomorrow. We might not even, because what I have a feeling is going to happen is like, Trump and Modi, they might sit down and say, okay, this is silly. Are we done, beating our chests here and showing each other that we can both apply big tariffs and look tough? And let's just put it back to where it needs to be. Let's make things as equal as possible, so that it's a win-win. I think Trump's a win-win kind of guy. I think Modi's the same way. But obviously both of them, their best interests are in their country and their people, which they should be. That's why they were elected. They shouldn't have their best interests in somebody else's, house or pocket. So what do you think, Haider?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As a leader of a nation, you have to think about the people that they aren't affected economically or socially to the level that there is an uprising in the economy uh, or the world. So yeah, they have to sit down together, do the brainstorming, and get a medium pact in between, so where they can
Yeah.
agree. Yeah,
Yep.
and
I
I
agree.
think hopefully that will happen soon. Yeah.
Well, do you have anybody that like you're friends with or family or anything that that are concerned with it, or are people that pretty much kind of in the same camp that you are?
You mean the export industry?
Yeah, like the export industry, the tariffs in general. Or do you have people do you know of anybody that's like panicking, or is everybody kind of like, it's going to be okay, don't worry?
No, there is a lot of panic going on because I have been in touch with one of my friends who is running a leather purse industry, a wallet industry for men and women.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they are the major exporters to US and other economies. So they are actually worried about these tariffs going on. Um, so because both the companies will also have to suffer if the cost is going to rise, then the export will decrease. So there is a heat going on at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about when the tariffs hit for a little bit there with China before they extended the stuff, that there were just warehouses of products and everything that were normally just being consumed quickly through, all the different online venues that we purchase from over here that come from China. And those warehouses were just full because they couldn't move the product and people were panicking big time. So that can be scary for sure if you run a business where you manufacture something and you've got to project out weeks and months of how much product you need to produce based on sales up to that point, continuing at that point, so because you can't, it's not like someone orders a wallet, you build the wallet that day, produce it, and then send it out. You've got to have it in stock, right? So yeah, that can be scary. And my heart goes out to folks that are in that type of situation. It's not fun for sure. People that run any type of business put their hearts and souls into that kind of stuff, and it's their family, but also all the people that work for them are lives with families too. That's kind of how I feel about our business. So, it can be tough, and people that sit in, whether it's ivory towers or White Houses or big buildings that make decisions based on, it's, and they're not flippant, I don't think. But it's not, people don't always have the chance to consider everybody in the chain that it's going to be affected. So hopefully this thing works its way quick, and the folks, your friend is able to weather that storm.
Yeah. You're right, Brian. There is a lot of inventory piling up in India right now. For example, not only the leather industry or the textile industry, but I just saw one news yesterday. There is an inventory for millions of dollars piling up in the automobile industry. So we have cars lining up. I was planning to buy a car recently, a couple of days back, and I have been researching. So I just gave a call to one of the dealers or the automobile showrooms, and they are like giving me tons of discount right now. They have a
That's a good
huge
thing.
inventory piling up. Yeah, good for me, I think. But I
Yeah.
can, I can, we can think about the situation these dealers and the automobile showrooms are going through, because they take all these inventory on credit. No one takes on cash,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Right. That's true.
Just think about the interest they must be paying, and similarly for other industries as well. So it's
Well,
a short
the nice
period
thing about
of time.
local retail is when prices go down, especially in things like homes, when interest rates and prices go down, homes, vehicles, big purchases, it tends to motivate people to do something they've been waiting to do. Like it sounds like you want to get a new car, but hey, man, interest rates are high, and you look at the price of a car or a truck or a vehicle, and man, that just seems like it's way too much compared to what it used to be. And if this helps get prices down to where they were pre-COVID, that would be nice because everything's crazy expensive.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So yeah, I don't know what is. I mean, what is India a big importer of from the U.S., if anything?
Importer, I am not sure what.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's a good question, isn't it?
yeah, I
I
think
don't know.
it could be electronic chips, maybe.
Let's see. What are the top five imports from the U.S. to India? Let's see what it says. Any guesses, Matt? What do you think? Put something out there, man. Put something out there.
Yeah, I'd say I'd be along the same lines as Hyder with something technological, some sort of chips or something like that. I'd say something in the tech space would be my guess, or maybe like American cars, like Fords or something like that. Maybe I'm not sure. Those would be my two guesses.
Um,
What do
it
you
could be
think,
oil.
Hyder?
It could be oil also because
Oil?
there is a war going on between Trump and Putin from Russia because India is buying Russian oil, so that is upsetting uh, Trump on this side. Why the oil
Yeah.
isn't being bought from US? So it could be oil as well. But yeah, I think it could be oil or the technology stuff mainly.
All right, here we go. You guys want to hear it? Top five imports of goods from the United States to India based on 24-25. So it's not like current numbers, but number 5, iron and steel, approximately $846 million in imports. Yeah. Number 4, edible fruits and nuts, approximately $972 million. Number 3, machinery and mechanical appliances. So a lot can go in there, right? 1.54 billion. Number 2, gems and jewelry, 1.89 billion. Thought that was interesting. I know folks in India love like gold and gems and things like that. It's a good hedge investment. So a lot of that is purchased, but I didn't realize they were importing it as much from us. And then number 1, mineral products, including fuels and oils. So good hit on that one, Hyder. You hit that one on the head. Approximately still in 2024, even though they're buying a lot of Russian oil, 4.92 billion.
Yeah, that is why Trump is upset.
What is the what?
The only bummer for me is number 4. You said fruits and nuts, right?
Yeah.
I thought they were indigenously produced in India, so that's a bummer for me. Yeah.
I bet you a lot of them are. When you think about it, think about this. India is a huge consumer market, right? Maybe not for, super high expensive items and stuff, but even those, they're a huge market because they have so many folks. But everybody's got to eat, and fruits and nuts are a very popular food to eat. I bet you a ton of them are produced in India, but it's, the ones that are produced over here is probably just to fill in the gaps of need, right? 972 million is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's almost $1 billion, but that's less than $1 per person in India. You know what I mean?
Right. Correct.
So
Major supply is indigenous still, I think.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just asked real quick what the GDP The nominal GDP for India is approximately 4.19 trillion, making India the fourth largest economy globally. The purchasing power is 17.65 trillion, placing India as the third largest economy by purchasing power parity. So they're a major player. Let's not, argue about that at all, which we aren't. But I mean, they're a big deal. And but if you add those numbers up in the top 5, and you could go to top 10, and they'll add up. But they're significant. But I think it's not. If I was to look at, how much, maybe I should ask, compare U.S. imports from India versus India imports from U.S. in dollar value for 2024. Let's see what we got here. Because what I'm looking at is, if this is going to happen, who's losing the most? You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. I think US is it is the biggest economy, so US must be importing way much higher from India compared to India's importing from US. Yeah.
So, the U.S. exports to India, the value is 41.5 billion. This is 2024.
Okay.
And then the India exports to the U.S. So what we are importing from India, the value is 87.3 billion. So a little over double. We're spending bringing in goods from India versus India spending bringing goods in from the U.S. And you think about that, population size. If let's say we're approximately 350 million, you guys are approximately 1.5 or 1.6 billion people.
Yeah.
So per person, obviously not everybody's consuming things from each country, but that's double is a big deal. So interesting. That's it. So for instance, if those numbers were the same, right? Mm-hmm. And we still were importing 87.3 billion for from now until a year from now with a 50% tariff, that would jump to a cost of 50% more than that, right? So 120 billion, right, to get it here.
Right.
The question is, and I think this is what politicians and people bet on, is the economic and the relative need per country of the things that are being imported from the other country, right? Yeah. So what does each, how, if U.S. stopped, cut imports by 50% because people just don't want to buy more at 50% more, what would we be missing out on? And the same goes for, India already knows what it misses out on. It's with just, like you said, Haidar, when you go to buy a car, it's probably not going to be a Ford, Chevy, or Chrysler, correct?
Right.
It's probably going to be a brand manufactured in India.
Yes. Either from India or from South Korea, like Suzuki or Honda or Toyota, like that.
So those are Japanese and Korean cars. So there's no tariffs on those?
Because they are indigenously produced, and we have factories of Hyundai, Honda,
because you have
and
factories
Toyota.
Here.
Yes. So that's what part of Make in India only. Ford, unfortunately, Ford left us in 2020. I had Ford EcoSport, and
Oh, really?
yeah, it's a great
They,
car. It's a great company, but unfortunately, it closed all its operations in India in 2020, and now they might be
I didn't
coming
know
to
that.
come back again because India, as you said, it is a consumption-driven economy. So that is why Tesla
Yeah.
and Ford and this uh, the Starlink, they are all planning to start services here in India. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a good thing, right? Like, I mean, if a
Absolutely.
US company, in order to take advantage of a market, decides to build infrastructure in that market so that they can produce there and take advantage of not getting hit by tariffs, that's good
Hmm.
for, it's good for the company, which is US company, because some of that money is going to come back home, but it's good for the economy in India because people get jobs. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
you have the
definitely.
opportunity to buy those products.
Yes,
So not so
absolutely.
bad. Not so bad. Cool. All right. Hey, Haider, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. We couldn't have had this conversation without you. Hopefully, we can have you on the show again sometime and maybe actually get to see you on video when you get that camera fixed.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot, Brian, for having me on the
Uh,
show.
you bet. Anytime. Talk to you later, Haider. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, Matt.
See you, Haidar. Appreciate you joining.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Been with us for quite a few years now. And super professional. Um, very well spoken, both written and audio, as you could tell. So, yeah, he's obviously keeping up with things, which I'm glad that we were able to bring him on.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's going on in your world today? Anything big? Any new
Uh,
updates?
no, nothing really out of the ordinary. Just yeah, same old, day by day here. Videos, podcasts, editing, all that good stuff. Got more and more, sales meetings in the pipeline and that sort of stuff. So yeah, nothing really new since yesterday in my world, except kind of the same old business day by day for me. How about yourself?
Nice. Uh, yeah. Just working on the project. Worked a little bit more on the book project. Worked on getting ready for those meetings tomorrow. Did rearrange. I'm not sure if you can tell. Rearrange the room here. You can't really tell from here, but so I used to have all the equipment over there where I can't reach it and prep
Okay.
for someone to be there. But I brought it over here so I could adjust it, and obviously that screwed a few things up. But um, yeah, so I did that. Spent some time doing that this afternoon.
Nice.
Um, so nothing new
Yep.
to really report on, business wise today. But tomorrow should be a fun day. I'm probably going to end up taking Friday off, so I don't think we'll get together on Friday.
Sounds good.
But I'm going to try to do one last hurrah with the family before everything starts to kind of close up for the season.
Yep. Yep.
Thinking what I wanted to do was take them to Six Flags north of Chicago. It's called Great America. We haven't got to go yet this year, and we've gone the last 3 years. They've got
Nice.
a new ride that opened up this year, and the kids really want to go, but they're not open in the week anymore. They're only open Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because it's a holiday. So
Interesting. Okay.
I'm thinking, and I haven't told them this yet, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is take Friday, and we'll do maybe one last trip to Noah's Ark at the water park. It's supposed to be nice, but not super hot. And then instead of heading, because what we'd been doing is just do a day trip
Yep.
and then come back home. So what I'm going to do this time is spend a day there, leave, and then about halfway to Chicago, stay in a hotel and probably in Johnson's Creek, and then the next morning get up and get to Great America on Saturday morning early,
Nice.
so we can get in right away
Good stuff.
and have a little fun. We'll see.
Cool.
I gotta sell. It's easy to sell the kids on it. I just
Yeah.
gotta sell Jen on it. See if she wants to do it. She
Nice.
doesn't really like. I mean, she likes Great America. It's fun to be there, but she hates rides.
Yep.
So she doesn't go on any of that kind of stuff. Are you a roller coaster guy?
Yeah, I love roller coasters. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What's a park? Is there a park out by you anywhere in Colorado area?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked out here. Back growing up in Virginia Beach, though, we went to Busch Gardens, which was about an hour away in Williamsburg. So that
I've
was
heard
there.
Busch Gardens is awesome. It's like top
Yeah.
5 in the country, I've heard.
Yeah, Busch Gardens is really cool. And then over when I lived in Charlotte, there was one called Carowinds. And so those were the two locally. I haven't checked out. I'm sure there is one like outside of Denver or something. I just haven't researched it quite yet.
Yeah, so we've got Six Flags Great America here in Gurnee, which is just north of Chicago, right over the Wisconsin border. And I went there, first time I went there, I was in high school, went physics trip. So it was like free. I just sold a bunch of candy bars and we got to go.
Nice.
So that was cool. And it was just high school kids. So it wasn't super full.
Yeah.
So we could just go on rides over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
But then I didn't go for like 20 some years. And then I took the kids there a few years back and we just had a blast. My two oldest love roller coasters. My 7-year-old, she's really starting to dig it. And she's tall enough to get on them now, but she's really, if they're a little over the edge scary, she doesn't want any part of it. But what's your favorite kind of coaster?
I really like, just big drops. I like them really high. I mean, the crazier, the better. So I like being scared. I'm really any kind. There was one called in Busch Gardens, Apollo's Chariot, which is a super tall one. There was one called Alpengeist. They had one called the Big Bad Wolf that they changed into. I forget what they changed into, but more of the roller coasters where it's more pushy, like electric instead of like going with the grooves. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really anything that'll give me butterflies in my stomach and maybe scare me a little bit. I'm not picky. The bigger the better is mine.
Yeah, same here. I don't like the stuff that spins a lot. I'm not big on that kind of stuff anymore. I don't know. I just get dizzy from that. But like a roller coaster, I'm digging. Like there's a lot of Six Flags stuff is like comic themed. So it's all like Superman and Batman and stuff like that. So there's a Superman one, like it's right when you go in. My son doesn't like it for some reason, but I love it. And you actually, you're underneath the track and you sit in it. And then when you get locked in, it kind of flattens you out like you're flying like Superman. Yeah. It's got rows of people 4 wide and you're going, doing inverted loops and stuff. Yep. And that's a heck of a way to start the day.
I bet.
And they just got a lot of big stuff there that I like to do. That I really wanted. There's a couple that I haven't got to do. There's one that's Flash. And that's one where like, it starts off at the bottom and you kind of go and you keep going forward and backward and getting further up and there's like some spins and stuff and that looks pretty cool. Yeah. And they opened a new one and it's a drop coaster. It's called Wrath of Rakshasa or something like that.
Okay.
Takes you up and then it's a 91-degree drop to start it. So it's almost an inverted drop. So that should be pretty cool. And I'm trying to think if there's any that I haven't done. There's a couple newer ones from the last couple of years that we want to do again. There's one where it's like race car themed. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called, but you start flat on the ground and then it just shoots you. Yeah. And you go straight up and invert and down and you're like going 90 miles an hour within a couple seconds. That was pretty cool.
Yep. But, there's one called Griffin at Busch Gardens where it's like a 90-degree, but then when you go over the little lip, it just stops for like 15 seconds. It's pretty crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
That one's fun.
So hopefully we end up doing that. That should be fun. Create some memories and
nice.
Scare the crap out of the kids. That kind of stuff. So.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's about all I've got prepped for the day. I think it was a pretty good show. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was nice to get some fresh blood in here to kind of talk and get, some different viewpoints and different,
for sure.
aspects of business. So that was really cool. Really enjoyed it. And always a pleasure. And hoping I saw there was about 3 people, I think, watching in the live view when we were going. So we'll try to get more of those live views up. We're posting every day before we go live. And if you're ever joining in the stream, we're watching. So feel free to ask the questions as well.
Yeah. The more we do this, the better we'll get at it. Apologize for any of the technical snafus that we had at the beginning. I'll try to do a better job of camera switching here. This is all relatively new. Yeah. And maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll have somebody helping produce the live show. I'm working on securing an apprenticeship here locally for some high school kids to get involved with the show that, want to get into marketing and podcasting and video and stuff. So, if that works, great. If not, I think I might just end up hiring somebody that can be a couple different roles and this be one of them, because I think it's important. So try to lock this tech thing in and get the show high quality again.
Cool. Well, sounds like a plan, my friend.
And we got a big show coming up pretty soon in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yep. So we're working on locking. We're between a few different guests right now, so we're locking in kind of our guests for the legacy show, and then over either next week or the week after that should be recording for our next legacy show. So got some good guests in the funnel, and excited to kind of lock in on that next one here.
Yeah, awesome. And anybody who's watching now or watches this later, go check out some of the other shows. The most recent one was with Krish, from the CEO from Fireflies. That was a really good one. Yep. Lots of good stuff, man. He's a real mover and shaker. His company is amazing. It was a great conversation, a lot of good insight. It's interesting now that I'm not a young guy anymore, and I get on with younger folks that are way more successful than I've ever been. And I'm learning from folks that are younger than me. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, really interesting episode. Be sure to check that out. And then, be on the lookout for our next legacy episode as well. Have another great guest lined up.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Matt, for being a part of the show today, as always. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to episode 54 of the Daily BLP. We will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys. See ya.